Speaker, the first thing I would say is they call them bogus asylum claimants. There are actually a great number, in fact, millions of legitimate asylum claimants.
They're trying to seal it away. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today, changes being made to Bill 9 to hide the truth. We've got bogus refugee claims and the massive benefits they get in Canada being blown up in the House of Commons today. We got a bunch of stuff. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we've got some new data coming out of the provincial race in British Columbia. We see Carrie Lynn Finley with a commanding lead here, 44%, with Caroline Elliott next closest with 19.5%. Now, there's another poll that came out recently that showed Caroline Elliott ahead. Looking across the spectrum of candidates here for the BC provincial race, without a doubt, there's no question here, the most conservative candidate in this race is Carrie Lynn Finley. Without a question. Half these candidates are liberals or liberal lights, and some of them a little bit more conservative, but simply put though, Carrie Lynn Finley is a true blue conservative. We got Marty up north posting this, so this is from Nanos data. 84% of Canadians believe that the US would support Alberta separation. I'm not surprised by that. We got Mark Carney going over to make some more deals over, so he's traveling over to India, Australia, and Japan, and people are already speculating there's going to be some Brookfield involved. Of course, that's what he's doing. He's running the Brookfield party of Canada. He doesn't care about Canadians. He's duped Canadians. It's amazing how easily he's bamboozled the public. This here is the face of a man who hasn't had enough fiber. So it goes on to say he's going to meet with the different leaders here, Modi, Albanese, Sane, Takaichi during their visits, but also expand partnerships in areas of energy, technology, artificial intelligence, critical minerals. These are all Brookfield initiatives. Brookfield first. He's the Brookfield first party. Moving ahead here, we've got a full onslaught on Pierre Poilievre. Once again, they're not covering anything going on in Canada. That's food prices, cost of living, none of that stuff, crime. Of course, all the media is doing is attacking Pierre. We've got Mario posting this. I believe this is an article Sharon Kerr wrote saying the outrage directed at General from the Conservative Leader Caucus and their endorsed base of social media influencers is symptomatic of a bad relationship that needed to end. The hypocrisy of this, as Jasmine points out here, is that Sharon Kerr is paid by the government, and there's all these claims of social media influencers getting paid. There's no payments coming to social media influencers, period. I should clarify, conservative influencers. As Jasmine says, I only wish Sharon would recognize she indeed herself a televised paid influencer for the Liberal government. She gets national airtime. She literally writes articles for them, stop trying to smear others, participating in democracy. And that's it right there. When in reality, it was Justin Trudeau that was paying influencers back in 2021 to 2024. We have this right here, $1.7 million. Now, I have gone through this and looked at all the influencers. There's a handful of them on TikTok, on YouTube, etc. Most of these creators, they were given money, their channels were pushed, but they never amounted to anything. So the hypocrisy of this situation is unbelievable. When you see this kind of stuff here coming out of CTV today, there's an unstoppable stream of rumors of more conservative floor crossers, and they bring on Scott Reed here for another 3-minute segment to tell us how bad the situation is and Pierre Poilievre and all this. This is just paid propaganda. I mean, we have another one here. Conservatives in a weakened position after floor crossing as MP set to return to House of Commons. They bring in Judy Trin, their senior reporter here, to tell us the rumors.
Senior correspondent Judy Trin following those developments for us in Ottawa today. Judy, certainly going to be interesting today. Watch this third defection that happens in crossing the aisle. What are we hearing too? Because we know that, Lisa Raitt last week was talking about the possibility of more rumblings about other conservatives that might, again, are considering crossing the floor.
No, what Lisa Raitt said was, if there are more, come forward now, get it over with. That's what she said. This is more twisting. Look at this. They're reporting rumors as news.
Yes, Matt. What we are hearing is that there could be other defections because no one really wants a election. So what we are going to expect today later on is that a warm welcome by the Liberals in the House of Commons to their newest member, Matt Genereux. He joins Chris D'Entremont from...
Okay, yeah, so they're just running this as news, but it's not news. What we're hearing is that something might have happened. Oh, we got a rumor coming in that Mark Carney was favoring the American men's hockey team to win the gold medal. Are we reporting that as news now? Because someone said that somewhere, maybe? This is embarrassing what they're putting on here. This isn't news. There's plenty of news going on in Canada. I mean, Aaron Gunn posting this one here, another devastating mill closure strikes BC town. Jobs lost, workers laid off. Who's to blame? There's lots of problems here. Canadians can't afford to eat. They're losing their jobs. This is happening all around me here on Vancouver Island. First Nation-owned wood chip facility closing on North Vancouver Island. They're not reporting on this stuff. It's all about Matt Genereux. And then there might be more floor crossers. We got Frank Caputo putting this out. It's been 2 weeks and the Liberals still haven't responded to my very reasonable call to make publicly available the Memorandum of Understanding with China relating to intelligence sharing. Mark Carney wants to share our information with Chinese police and they don't even want to talk about this. This is where the media should be coming in and pointing a big spotlight on this. Of course, they're paid off and they're helping Mark Carney Carney, so they're not going to do that. Whether it's food inflation, cost of living, crime, you have all these specific examples here of things they could be covering right now. No, it's Matt Generou. Just let's run wall-to-wall coverage on some rumors that maybe there's someone else. There could be someone else on the bench that would cross the floor. Newsflash, CTV, this is not real news. It's not like they ran one segment on this too. It's just segment after segment. Meanwhile, you look at all the people that have resigned or leaving Carney's cabinet, moving over to positions in Europe. Nate Erskine-Smith stepping down. There's no coverage of that. If that was Pierre Poilievre, though, they would say, oh, well, he's leaving because he doesn't like Poilievre's leadership. Something else that happened today, someone found their voting app. Look who it is. It's Matt Generou, Trader Matt Generou, voting electronically. Is he in Victoria or is he in Vancouver? Checking out what I suspect will be his new riding. This freeloader doing nothing for months, collecting a paycheck, saying he would donate that paycheck. Where's the proof that he's donated $58,000? Charity. Is he just pocketing that? Now getting an incentive, a bribe from Mark Carney to join the Liberal Party? What exactly is going on here? Something else to note about this. Carney brings him over as a special advisor on economic and security partnerships. I thought Mark Carney was the economic genius around here. Why would he need an advisor on this? Wasn't he the one who said he could get a deal with Donald Trump? This is all smoke and mirrors. This one's going around here today. Brittany sharing this. Chris D'Entremont, Mr. Floorcrosser, not looking so happy. Look how pissed he is. He looks like a defeated, sad old man. Money isn't everything. He sold his soul. That's the face of a man who sold his soul. Knows he's not getting it back either. Jumping ahead, we've got Mark Carney announcing $50 million for Inuit-led university as part of major announcements for northern communities. It's going to be a total game changer for the North. Thought we had a big deficit. Why now? Great question. He's buying votes. That's why. We've got this bombshell here dropped by the Western Standard. Bill C9 to protect Indigenous sacred sites, now including unmarked graves under the new H-word crime law. This is a slippery slope here. As this guy says, this bill cannot pass. If I understand correctly, this means First Nation can designate a piece of land, whether crown or private, a religious site, and basically take ownership by denying access to the property, even by its owners. We're seeing all sorts of stuff here, dogpiling. I mean, we've got this one here. This is from Blacklock's reporter. The Department of Crown Indigenous Relations is sealing all records filed by Kamloops, BC, basically not allowing people to dig. I mean, they've got fences around that land, so people can't go in there with shovels and just dig to prove there are no graves there. Something like, was it $13 million was given to the First Nations to dig, and then they just pocketed the money. They stole the money and didn't dig. This is beyond getting bamboozled. This is just straight up fraud. And as it says here, the department wrote in denying an access to information requests for the records. None of these sites have been investigated further. Yeah, they haven't been investigated at all. So we have this here where sacred sites, including unmarked grave sites, include H crime. They don't want anyone to find out the truth. This is massive censorship. If they deny access to property, I mean, what else are they going to lock down? Joffrey Lakes? I mean, the First Nations do this every summer. They say, oh, we have to have a ceremonial thing which lasts the entire summer. You guys can't go hiking at one of the most popular hiking trails in the country. Recently, a good portion of Mount Benson, which is a mountain right next to Nanaimo, BC, was given over to First Nations after major upgrades were done with Canadian tax dollars. We're seeing this too, cities seeking boundary change to include whatever First Nation reserve lands. The whatever First Nation and City of Nanaimo have jointly requested support from the province of BC in initiating municipal boundary change that would see the reserve included within the City of Nanaimo. Why? They're not paying taxes. Taxpayer money gets given to this band. They want more land? For what? This work supports the city's commitment in advancing truth and reconciliation. Oh, please. How about pay taxes? You want a piece of land? Buy it. This isn't 1801. The world has changed. If we want to talk about land rights, let's look at how many Indigenous nations fought over land and the land is exchanged dozens of times. You can't say that was my land. Land has been exchanged numerous times in the past many hundreds of years that First Nations have lived here. This crap has to end. Jumping into the House of Commons, we've got Mark Carney's immigration minister getting absolutely hammered. Question after question. I'll show you the best one here.
Speaker, the parliamentary budget officer revealed the interim federal health program will cost taxpayers over $1.5 billion a year. The Liberals expanded this program to provide a deluxe health benefits like physiotherapy and home care to bogus asylum claimants whose phony claims have been rejected. Canadians are not entitled to them, but rejected asylum claimants are. Why are the Liberals giving bogus asylum seekers better health care than Canadians who fund the system?
This question could be asked of so many things. Why are we funding other countries when we have people living in our own streets? Why are we funding other countries, other programs around the world when we have 2.2 million people going to the food bank? Why are we funding asylum seekers, fraudulent asylum seekers from South Asia with programs like physiotherapy when Canadians don't get these benefits? This is a very valid question.
Mr. Speaker, I really appreciate that question. To speak to the PBA report, those are projections in that report. They do not take into account the changes that are coming in Bill C-12. Neither do they take into account the interim health measures that we've introduced, including copay and other provisions. So I look forward
There's always an excuse from her. It's something else. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing.
to that.
The honourable member for...
While the Liberals defend deluxe health benefits for bogus asylum claimants, millions of Canadians are waiting in line for care. There are Canadians in this country who can't get health care they need because the wait list is too long. Ahead of them on that wait list are people who filed fake refugee claims and were rejected by the government's own refugee board. Will the minister explain to Canadians why bogus asylum seekers are ahead of them in line?
Mr. Speaker, I want to point to that member who I respect quite a bit. Last session, we were on the same committee. In 2014, it was this Conservative government that the Supreme Court ruled that that their changes were unconstitutional, and they.
That's right, because something that happened in 2014, as in 12 years ago, it's Harper's fault once again. So the case she quoted there is from 2014. It's this one here, saying that Ottawa's cutbacks to healthcare coverage for refugee claimants constitute cruel and unusual treatment, particularly to children. This is a far stretch, though. How did Harper respond? He said, the fact of the matter is we have not taken away healthcare from immigrants and refugees. On the contrary, the only time we've removed it is where we have bogus refugee claimants who have been refused and turned down. We do not offer them better healthcare than ordinary Canadians can receive. So once again, Lena Mettledge, Carney's immigration minister, digging up old garbage, trying to smear this in the House of Commons. It makes her look like an absolute fool.
In 2014, it was this Conservative government that the Supreme Court ruled that that their changes were unconstitutional, and they took away health care coverage for the most vulnerable, including children. This is not something we will do on this side of the House. Again, we are curbing misuse. We've introduced changes by introducing copay. Asylum claims are down by a third under this government.
She's a chronic liar. They're encouraging misuse, and the Harper government was doing the exact opposite, cracking down on misuse.
Mr. Speaker, 6 million Canadians don't have access to a family doctor, and it takes 30 weeks for the average Canadian to see a specialist. But the Liberals use a Canadian taxpayer dollars to fund a Cadillac healthcare system for asylum claimants, including free access to glasses and contact lenses, physiotherapy, nursing homes, and hearing aids. These are free benefits that regular citizens don't get. And this doesn't come cheap. It costs nearly $1 billion this year. Will the Liberals support our motion and ensure that asylum claimants don't get better health care than regular Canadians?
It's absolutely deplorable. I've needed to go to a chiropractor to fix my hip. Now it does seem like it's fixed, but it took 3 sessions, $90 a piece. This is what it's like for everyday Canadians, where it costs $270 to fix your back. Meanwhile, we've got refugees coming in that get the full royal treatment, paid for by us.
Speaker, the first thing I would say is they call them bogus asylum claimants. There are actually a great number, in fact, millions of legitimate asylum claimants all over the world. Our country has distinguished itself over its history as being a welcoming place for legitimate asylum claimants. We will always be a welcoming place. And when people arrive here from war-torn areas or children are in need of health services,
those are not the people they're bringing in. They're bringing in a ton of people from India who are claiming refugee status, which there is no danger for where they came from. We know full well they're ripping off the system here. These guys are allowing terror lords from the Middle East to come here and seek refuge from the countries that want to prosecute them for their crimes.
every single Canadian I know, Mr. Speaker, would insist that we provide those health services to that person. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And enough of...
This is a losing strategy because the majority of Canadians are not liking what they see with the immigration right now.
Mr. Speaker, it doesn't change the fact that they have created a two-tier healthcare system that disadvantages ordinary Canadians. The Liberals continue to betray Canadians, putting bogus asylum claimants first by giving them access to health care benefits that regular citizens don't get. And we just learned that the government automatically gives residency to refugees from North Korea, Afghanistan, and Yemen without even talking to them. Instead of an in-person interview, these Liberals are blindly granting residency, all while giving generous health care benefits. So I ask again.
Exactly what I just said. They don't do background checks on a lot of these people. Just come on in. You're a terror lord, no problem. We saw this just last year. There was a terror lord that came in. There was videos of him removing somebody's head in his country, got citizenship in Canada. The Liberals love these people coming in because then it creates all this stir in the media, all these crimes, all this chaos. It hides their own corruption in the government.
Will the Liberals support our motion and ensure that asylum claimants don't get better health care than regular Canadians?
Speaker, in addition to our humanitarian obligations, in many cases treaty obligations, as Mr. Harper found out when the Supreme Court ordered him to restore health benefits to asylum claimants
as I just showed you, it was bogus asylum claimants that he was removing that for because they're trying to rip off taxpayers.
Their well-being. Mr. Speaker, in our case, we have managed this number of asylum claimants down. We have passed a law in this House to move that number down. We have passed, or are about to pass, a law to take benefits down for this category of person. We will continue to manage this carefully, Mr. Speaker.
Next up, we got Stephen McKinnon putting his foot in his mouth.
Member for Elgin St. Thomas, London South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A British Columbia School Board trustee was fined $750,000 for the egregious crime of saying there are two genders. These are the same kangaroo courts that the Liberals' Online Harms Act empowers. It's the same regulation of emotion that Liberal Bill C9 supercharges. The Liberals claim they will uphold freedom of expression, but still have not said whether they will acknowledge and accept the Federal Court of Appeal ruling that they violated the constitutional rights of Canadians by invoking the Emergencies Act. Will they commit now to giving up on their censorship agenda and letting Canadians live their lives and speak their minds?
The Honourable Governor.
A couple points, Mr. Speaker. There is no censorship agenda. We will keep our kids safe, including safe from child pornographers. And the convoy was an illegal occupation of the downtown of our capital that people wanted gone. And he supported with his leader. Shame on them bringing donuts to people occupying our nation's capital.
Okay, bring the clown car around. It's time to get him out of here. They won't admit it, obviously. I mean, Trudeau should be thrown in jail for his crimes against us. It was illegal. There needs to be prosecution. Chrystia Freeland, Justin Trudeau need to take the fall for this. Taxpayers are going to be on the hook for this, getting sued by citizens who had their lives affected by their illegal use of the Emergencies Act. But of course, we always pay for their bad decisions.